Okay, so we are nearly, I would say, 3/4 of the way through this program. And this particular video is called The Four Horses of the Apocalypse, which has also the antidotes for each. Now, these concepts were developed by Esther Perel and John Gottman from America, and they are world-renowned relationship therapists. So they know what they're talking about, and they're people that I've been working under for quite some time now, and their work is worth sharing. So what the Four Horsemen are all about is these 4 pillars that pretty much lead to divorce and breakups. So again, when we're aware of them, we also then have the ability to know how to fix them, so we're at cause of change rather than just letting them happening and then doing nothing about it. So the first one is criticism. And basically what criticism is in a relationship, and I know you probably understand what it is, but I want to get specific so there's absolute clarity in what you need to know and learn and how to change that. And criticism comes from a complaint focusing on someone's, like, a specific behavior that they do. And that criticism then becomes attack on that very person's character, which can really, cut them at the core. And that has a massive impact on a relationship. And this could also be referred to women emasculating men, where they're constantly being put down and made to feel like, they're not good enough. Whatever they do isn't good enough because it doesn't get done how women want or when we want it by as well. So how do we fix that is I guess one of the most important questions. And I like to say that we start having what we call a gentle startup, or a more gentle conversation. Because most people, when they're criticizing someone's behavior or something that's done, and we always want to remember as well that we're not criticizing the person, it's the behavior. And that also helps just not making things so personal as well. So how we fix that, instead of starting conversations, well, you did this, you don't do that, you make me feel this is your fault, that does put a lot of blame into the equation. And that can make someone feel, bloody awful when they just feel like they're blamed for everything, because that other person also then isn't taking ownership for their part of the problem, and they must. So what is a better way to start a conversation when there's a topic that needs to get discussed, is we want to start with I statements, but more specifically, I feel. So it could be something like saying, I feel really upset by blah, blah behavior because of this reason. And we want to also try and see if we can find a way of expressing it somehow in a positive way, or reframing it of, well, I feel disappointed or I feel frustrated because this didn't get done by 5 p.m. because what I really needed to do was to get dinner happening. We had lots of washing. We had to be somewhere so we could have more quality time. So when we have a different conversation that explains, well, what's in it for the other person as well, and why you needed something done by a particular time and date, as just one example, it can just have a totally different flow-on effect for a conversation rather than an argument. So simply think about it like this. Think of these 2 things to formulate your soft startups of conversations. And you say, ask yourself, what do I feel? And what do I need as well? Because the other person you're with always wants to know as well, again in their subconscious, what do you need and what does it give you? Because I'm pretty sure your other partner just wants to make you happy and be able to fulfill doing something for you, or provide something for you, or meet one of your love languages. So that's one example. Another example of criticism is when we say something like, oh, you're always talking about yourself. Why are you always so selfish or self-centered? So what if You were then able to talk, and just imagine you said something like this. I'm feeling left out of our talk tonight and I need to vent. Can we please talk about my day? And do you notice that the antidote as such with I feel then leads into I need? And then respectfully asks to fulfill that need. There's no blame, there's no criticism, which then prevents the discussion from escalating into an argument. And yes, this can take practice. So I might just pause this video on this particular item of the criticism, and I'll come back with the next video, which is about contempt.